Good evening, Celeste. She's in charge in renovating HQ while I run a couple of errands. Yes, please. I require some commentary material, Evita. I'll need something from 2017, something familiar but new, rich in substance but light on time. I'm watching my video duration diet after all, you understand. And that will be it. Ooh, a modern CC rant. Why thank you, this will do quite nicely. Now, it's showtime! Greetings online travelers, I'm Aeron Tempest and welcome to the Celestial Cafe. Before we begin, allow me to introduce our current specimen. Meet Koopa but not a Troopa. I don't have a lot of intel on this fellow, but from what I can gather, he makes commentary videos on people who haven't been covered elsewhere. On February 4th, 2017, he released a video titled The Cancer That Is Killing YouTube, the NeoCC, where he addressed his issues with the commentary community as a whole. For the record, he's not talking about Leafy is here and pyrocynical types. This is a different commentary community altogether. Needless to say, I disagreed with him. So, without further ado, let's charge ahead.
Laziness. If you've seen any of the videos from the SCC, you'll notice that they take random pictures and put them in a slideshow with their audio commentary over it, hence the name. And this brings up my first issue, laziness. Because obviously they don't draw their own pictures, because that will take effort. They just get random pictures from Google Images.
First of all, are you insinuating that slideshows are lazy in and of themselves? How dare you! I'll have you know that most of my assets and effects, such as my backgrounds and OCs, were done in Microsoft PowerPoint. Are you one of those people who equate PowerPoint with laziness? No. I bet you're one of those people who prefer Prezi over PowerPoint. Wait, no. You're part of that accursed anti-PowerPoint party, aren't you? If so, then I'm here to tell you that
1791 will commence again if you try to take away my PowerPoints.
No matter how many Prezi cultists beg for you to take them away. Let us proceed with the rest of your point. Dear sir, I'm afraid I don't know what on earth you're talking about. Are you attempting to compare presentations because that's a game you don't want to be playing, my friend? Ignoring the fact that many YouTubers outside the CC use the slideshow style of videos, syncing up character expressions with your voice and adding visual flair on top of that is not an easier feat than, say, nabbing someone else's lackluster gameplay footage and talking over that. But okay, let's play your game for a minute and compare production values for a brief second. If somebody were to compare my first commentary's production value to the production value in your video, they would most likely think that your production value was simpler if not lazier than mine, since I included a lot more visual flair in my presentation and my video goes up to 720, while your video doesn't reach 480. If you think you have a leg up on me because you have animation, well, cool beans. But A, that's not present in your entire video as you start lazily keyframing one stagnant image of your OC towards the end with no rhyme or reason, and B, Nero's Q before your video was made and Potter's Sprocket after your video was made have both utilized animations in their commentaries before, plus said animations are more detailed than yours and don't rely on lazy keyframing when they're not animating their avatars. Your move!
One of the sub-issues.
On second thought, scratch that, I'm taking another turn now.
Bravely second.
Last time I checked, using original assets have been a rising trend in the CC. Just take a look at people like Ryan Rhino Mills, Digital Ty, Autumn Chan, 8363 MTR, Manga Common, Stamarant Stars, YouTube Dude, Caden Marks, Liebers, Ponder Sprocket, Nero's Q, Mr. Awesome, Dr. Mario 360, Bone Slayer, Ski Hound, Dirt Bike Redden, and Doodletones. And that was before your video was made. After your video's release, we had people joining the ranks like Silver, Heaton Mitsuru, Sword Zenny, Bob Zakin, KLH, Raven NG, Gwiz, Master TP10, me of course, oh, and most importantly, Doodletones.
Try again, Mr. Koopa.
In fact, speaking of Doodletones, let's address this point right here. You will be pleased to know that on May 6, 2017, Doodletones would address this issue in her video titled Disclaimers and Masking, Recent Pet Peeves to Address, where she gave people a method to remove backgrounds from images, so looking for PNGs specifically is no longer an issue. I understand this video was made long after yours, but it goes to show you that you shouldn't be so quick to assume laziness of somebody. Now, one last thing. What if people want to use original assets but can't draw or don't have the money to commission people? What if they planned an OC for themselves but they haven't finished by the time they wanted to make videos? I sure know the latter exist. Digital Ty was a good example before he got his own OC.
Also, the only reason why I'm even still using Yang as an avatar is because I'm planning an OC for myself, and I was planning on waiting on doing commentaries until I got that sorted out. But fuck the wait, here's the thing.
I mean, what should they do? Should they be like me and wait up to 2 years stocking up on original assets before they start making videos? That's asinine.
One of the sub-issues of this is that they use stupid characters like Rainbow Dash or Applejack or Rarity, where it's impossible to take them seriously.
This is what is known as an ad hominem. Neither of these critiques debunk anything anyone has to say.
I understand what you're saying, except no I don't, because you're an idiot. I'm not trying to say because you use a stupid avatar your points are now void. I'm trying to say that because you use a stupid avatar you're going to look stupid. It's also annoying whenever you say your own character, like Mr. Dirtbag Redden over here. I mean, I don't watch My Little Pony, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Rainbow Dash isn't a 20-something-year-old man that can't stop swearing every other second. Oh, sorry, you're not Rainbow Dash? I couldn't tell, seeing as you use Rainbow Dash as your avatar.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, except no I don't because you're acting like adult at the moment. First, I noticed that your clip from Doodletones was taken out of context. Let's play that out in full, shall we?
Returning viewers will definitely know this, but the whole use your real voice argument seriously gets on my nerves. Same goes for the show us your real face argument. Neither of these critiques debunk anything anyone has to say. Instead, this is what is known as an ad hominem, which is basically something directed at a person instead of the argument that they hold.
Notice what she's addressing. People complaining about not showing their real face and not using their real voice in their videos. The reason why she doesn't make sense to you is because she's not even addressing your point of using existing images for the sake of laziness. Please pay attention next time. Second, using stupid avatars will lead to people treating you less seriously? Are you daft? That is the vaguest and most subjective drivel I've ever witnessed regarding this topic. What counts as a stupid avatar? Anime characters? Cartoon horses? Video game characters? Recolors? DeviantArt fan characters? Actual original characters? What if the avatar is related to the subject matter? What if the avatar fits the user's personality? What if they're just messing around? There are so many factors you're not addressing here, it hurts. Now that that's out of the way, do you have any proof that Dirtbag Redden is acting in character in his videos? I never got this impression while watching his content, especially considering that he's used other avatars before like Spike from Cowboy Bebop. If you have evidence of this, I must ask for you to share it with the rest of the class. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll have to send you straight to the principal's office.
And also, can you SB stop using ad hominem and straw man? You Spurgs use it so much that it's getting hard to take you seriously. And it also ties into the point of laziness. Huh, this video's going better than I expected.
You know, a while back, ad hominems were put on this thing called the Commentator Bingo Board, which was a tongue-in-cheek way of pointing out various tropes that were overdone in commentaries past. Said bingo board is something I haven't seen in over 3 years now. Your complaint is such an old relic, I'm pretty sure some historians would be interested in it. Also, are you telling people not to call out others for using ad hominems and strawmen? You know commentaries exist to point out the flaws in a video, right? It's not the commentator's fault that so many people use those specific logical fallacies. Now if they use these terms incorrectly, or if they just said, "That's a strawman," and left it at that, which is in and of itself a logical fallacy, the fallacy, but I digress, then that's a problem. But that's not what you said, was it not?
Inability to spot trolls. As a person, I'd say that I'm able to spot trolls easily. I don't know why, maybe it's because most of the time it's obvious, maybe it's because I'm not stupid, or maybe it's because I don't have autism. That's why it's always so annoying to see Spurg101's newest video on Claymore. Hey, I found out that he was a troll through 2 minutes of research. Why does it take a million videos for you to even start questioning whether or not he's a troll? You know, doing research really helps to make you not look like an idiot. Or in this case, more of an idiot.
1, you're forgetting that post-law exists, and it's more difficult to tell if someone's trolling or not than it was in the days of yore. 2, you're complaining that people who make videos on bad videos are covering people who make bad videos on purpose. As long as the video is entertaining, brings something new to the table, or the creator is having fun doing it, it shouldn't matter if the subject is a troll or not. 3, and this is just food for thought, what if the troll was bad at trolling, and the commentator offered advice on how to be a better troll? What happens then? Alright, enough beating around the vegetation, let's get straight to the meat of the issue. So let us ignore the possibility that Claymore wasn't trolling and was being completely serious for a moment. To my knowledge, MegaDoop had only made 3 videos on Claymore, which, considering that some commentators have covered targets multiple times before, it's not really a big deal, especially considering the fact that only 2 out of those 3 videos were actually commentaries, and that second commentary was on Claymore's response to MegaDoop's original commentary. So what was that third video about? Well, that video was basically MegaDoop saying that he's no longer going to cover Claymore.
I'm done with Claymore. After this video, I'm pretty much done with Claymore, because the way I see it is that if he's gonna talk all this shit about me on Twitter, yet he's not gonna actually make a response video, or not even a response video, just a comment trying to refute my points, then as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't exist to me.
And to this day, he has kept that promise, which was roughly a year before your video's release, so what on earth are you talking about? Now, let's address that quote-unquote research. You got 1 comment. Excellent deduction skills. Now, what video was this comment left under, and when was it made? After all, if this single comment was made manifest after all of MegaDoopTV's videos, then your point has even less merit than it did before, because how was he supposed to know? Perhaps so, but A, I'm not about to go on a wild goose chase without even a specter of a lead to go off from. I have my limits, you know. And B, that's not my responsibility. Mr. Koopa is the one making this claim. He should be the one to provide this information, since he must already have this info at his disposal. Okay, even if I disregard all of my previous statements, I would still find this proof difficult to stomach because it's very possible that this person could be trolling himself or lying. But then again, who would ever lie on the internet, right? Now let us address your screenshot. All 3 of MegaDoopTV's videos are in that playlist. So you're saying that he should not have made videos on Claymore because there were already 23 videos on him, including MegaDoop's own videos, mind you. That's kinda dumb, especially considering that you don't even know or didn't prove that these videos were made before MegaDoop's. And that's ignoring the fact that he already stopped making videos on him in the first place. Your move.
And my final problem is unnecessarily long intros. When making a video, I think you should get straight to the point as to not bore your viewers. That's why I find it annoying whenever somebody makes, say, a 10-minute long video, and 4 of those minutes is a pointless intro that adds absolutely nothing to the overall video. There's absolutely no reason to add in you meeting your past self or you meeting your fellow Spurgs to do a try-up. Nobody cares.
Allow me to dismantle that point with an 8-pronged counter-argument. 1. That point is subjective. 2. In the event of a co-op, tri-op, or variable X-op, an intro skit can serve as a good conduit for the X amount of participants to introduce themselves to the audience who may not be familiar with them, and distinguish who's who while still being entertaining. 3. That point is subjective. 4. Ironically, it would take far more effort to make an intro skit than to just go in cold and get right into the news. That would require extra time to write the skit, record the lines for the skit, get everyone else you might need to record the skit, edit the skit, make sure it's interesting, funny, or entertaining, etc, etc. Funny that the person complaining about laziness earlier is arguing against adding something that takes extra effort. 5. You seem to be under the impression that intro skits have not been criticized by other commentators. I can assure you that's not the case. The biggest example I could think of was Nightmare Kagamine's Here Comes Foxtrot 2.0, which spawned commentaries from HalfBoiledHero, Ryan Rhino Mills, featuring Gale Force, and MasterTV10, with a major focus on her Terminating Suicide.exe intro skit. That skit was criticized for multiple issues ranging from poor acting to emotional whiplash to plot holes to the pointlessness of the entire thing. In fact, when Doodletones covered said video, she purposely skipped the intro because she thought it was covered to death at that point. That's not the only intro that was covered, oh no. Ryan's commentary on Skeleton Nation comes to mind, which criticized his line delivery, his joke about whose line was it anyways, and the overall premise and execution. Master TP10's commentary on Fawn and Silver criticized how the intro skit contradicted later events. There are others, sure, but I think I got my point across. 6. That point is subjective. 7. Let's talk about the commentaries you mentioned. Yes, both of the intro skits last for about 4 minutes, not counting the actual intro card showcasing the videos they're covering and all that, since that's actually important information for the audience to be aware of. However, the kicker is that the former video is 22 minutes long, which is at least twice as long as your estimate of 10 minutes, and the latter video is about 28 minutes long, nearly tripling your estimate of 10 minutes. Doing the math, the intro skits for both of these videos don't even clock up to half the amount of the percentage you're claiming. And to add insult to injury, there is a better candidate for lengthy intros, Ryan Rhino Mills' commentary on Nightmare Kagamine, whose intro skit clocked on around 8 minutes, which was double the length you were initially complaining about. However, I would like to defend that video's intro for a bit. Given that a majority of that commentary was basically criticizing Nightmare Kagamine's intro as previously stated, Ryan's long intro could have served as a subtle take that showing Nightmare Kagamine how intro skits should be carried out. Disregarding that hypothetical, that video now has an annotation that lets you skip past the intro. 8.
That point is subjective.
Just because you prefer your videos to get straight to the point does not mean that everyone else, including the video makers, share that preference. Nor does it mean that videos that have an intro skit are automatically bad, even if the intro skit itself is bad. After this, he excuses himself to wait for the response to his video before cutting to a wall of text, and lo and behold, I have some issues with what he wrote. So, for the sake of those just listening to this as background noise, you know who you are. Allow me to read it aloud before responding to it. Okay, not necessarily done yet. No satire or hyperbole. Could somebody please tell me what BOP is? The SCC talks so highly of it as if it's a commentary mega giant that everybody wants to be a part of. But the one thing that's part of the SCC that's even close to BOP is the bunch of pseudo-intellectuals. But they barely have 1,000 subscribers. Not saying that sub count equals quality of content, but if it's seen as so important, why does it only have a quarter of the subscribers that some commentators, for example Doodletones, have? If anybody does a commentary on this video, most likely they will, could somebody please tell me what BOP is, if not the bunch of pseudo-intellectuals? Okay, thanks, bye. Alright, Mr. Koopa, let me give you a history lesson, and pay attention, this will be on the test later. And now, Aeron Tempest proudly presents Commentary Class for Novices. Today's topic, the bunch of pseudo-intellectuals. The bunch of pseudo-intellectuals, also known as BOP for short, is a group channel that was created by Ryan Rhino Mills and a small group of people on February 26, 2014. With their vast roster of people associated with the channel, the commentaries that were featured on BOP usually had 3 or more commentators per video. This information is public knowledge and can be accessed through Ryan's TV Tropes page, the YouTube wiki, or either one of the commentary community wikis. The primary reasons why BOP is highly talked of are as follows. First, the bunch of pseudo-intellectuals was the first commentary community that was created in the CC. Second, BOP is one of the most successful commentary groups around. The only other commentary group in the commentary community that can be considered remotely successful is the Federation of the Exalted, also known as Fox for short. Fun fact, by the time Mr. Koopa's video was uploaded, the bunch of pseudo-intellectuals were approaching 2,000 subscribers. And that concludes today's lesson. Your homework is to make sure you do your research before presenting your findings to the class. And with that, the video draws to a close. Now the plug's been pulled, let us proceed to the concluding statements. Mr. Koopa, for somebody who touted his abilities to do research, you unfortunately did not do enough research on the subject you were ranting about. Seriously, when I can point to a single video's existence and dismantle most of your points, we got a problem. In fact, I must ask, how many commentators do you even know of? From this video I can only see 4, Doodletones, Ryan Rhino Mills, Dirtbike Redden, and MegaDoopTV. To be honest, I wouldn't be too surprised if the only reason he knows about those 2 are because Ryan Rhino Mills and Doodletones covered them in the past. How do I know this? Because despite the fact that Common Jack has gotten a lot of flack in the CC for multiple reasons, the only criticism Mr. Koopa hurled against him was his avatar choice, which doesn't even matter in the long run. Even if I'm wrong, that's a whopping 6 commentators you know. BOP alone has more than 20 commentators associated with it. Also, there are at least 15 commentators in Fox, and there are countless commentators who are not affiliated with a commentary group at all. Thus, you are using a small fraction of the CC to argue against the entire whole, which is ludicrous. Look, you may not have as much intel on the CC as I do, I get that, but you don't just walk into a community, look around for about 30 seconds and try to tell people who've been here for literal years why everything they've done is a cancer that's killing YouTube. Especially when the only thing you've come equipped with was hyperboles, misinformation, and irrelevant complaints. Oh, and about that cancer-killing YouTube thing? This community has been around since 2008, or 2007 if you want to get technical. Either way, it's been a thing long before your own channel was made, so who are you to claim that it's a cancer that's killing YouTube? Especially since it was there 2 to 3 years into YouTube's 12-year lifespan. Furthermore, if you've done as much research as you claimed you did, you would have known that you aren't the first person to do a rant on the CC. There have been a lot of them that have come before you, and you also would have known that only a small handful of that bunch were received well. The others were ruthlessly picked apart, especially that reoccurring point that anime avatars make you look bad, which was dismantled so hard that it's nothing but a reoccurring meme in the CC nowadays. Considering how many points that you made that mirrored debunked points from the past, your video is not only wrong, but it's also redundant. My advice to you is thus: Perhaps do more research next time, and don't make assumptions on a group of people based off a select few. After all, you never know who might come along 6 days later and dismantle your arguments with his very existence. Cheers.